tonight. We are super, super excited about the night. We just want to give people an opportunity to come in. And I just want to laugh with Evelyn a little bit. We we had no idea that we was on different time zones. So I'm like, girl, you ready? She like, no, homie, I ain't ready. It's 6 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock where I live. Um, and it's all good, but we're excited. Evelyn, where are you? I don't think I've ever asked, like, or ever known where you are. Where
Hi,
you?
hi everyone. I'm Evelyn Smith, and I'm excited
No,
to be here with Terri.
wait. Just tell me where you're from.
I'm originally from Mississippi, but I live in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Oh, so you're in back. Oh my God, didn't they have a shooting there today?
Yes, ma'am. They had a shooting at
Oh,
the mall today, and I think one person has died. A 17-year-old died, and I think it's seven other people that's like in critical condition.
my God. So was it a Father, we just ask that you be with these families, dear Lord. Comfort them. Send your spirit of comfort even right now, wherever they are, God. And I believe I heard that the shooter was on the loose. We're praying that he's apprehended
Yeah.
quickly, that he doesn't hurt anyone. And you just said it was a mosque. I didn't know that it was a mosque, but I'm praying that that is no other hate, that is not a hate crime.
No, they
um
said it was two. They said that it was a group of individuals that got into an argument in the food court.
wow, of the mall.
Um,
Listen, I know you guys are coming in. We were just giving people opportunity to come in, but tell us where you are from, and then we are going to get the night started. I was just thinking about this as I was coming on here, and and it was, sometimes we all just need a needle in the arm, right, to really get going or be reminded of some things. I had a bishop that used to say, sometimes we don't need to be informed as much as we need to be reminded. And so we here to, remind. I had a rough day today, just, dealing with, yeah. Just dealing with some weird health stuff that I never ever have to deal with. Because thank God I am
yeah.
overwhelmingly healthy. But the day and times that we live in, it's just super heavy in different places, and these are very uncertain times. But we decided today that we were going to bring this good news. And again, sometimes we don't need to be informed as much as we need to be reminded, or we just need to understand strategy so that we can produce to the full and running over. So welcome as you all come in. Oh, Mama Doris is here. I think I can see that. I just see
Uh,
I see the handle, the channel name, and then greetings everyone from Laurel, Mississippi. So we're excited to have you all here. We're going to get started. So let me just say, hey family, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is a special edition of the Terri Talks podcast. Let's talk, where we converse with real people about real challenges and real solutions and real estate investing. If this is your first time here, I want to know that, right? So let us know. My guests and I are extremely excited to be a part of your night. You didn't have to trust us with it, but you did. But I am Terri Brown Taylor. I'm your host. I am a real estate investor for over 20 years, a licensed general contractor, a serial entrepreneur, and business owner. I retired my nine until, praise God. I was a former law enforcement officer. But most importantly, I am a woman of faith who had to learn money the hard way, right? So nobody handed me the blueprint. Nobody explained the system. And if I'm being honest, if we're being honest, the reality for a lot of us is it's the reality for most of us, right? Our story is not that we were highly educated around this thing called money, or we got real education around it, or even how to have a relationship with it. But thank God in His grace and mercy that it doesn't matter where you start, right? He said,
right.
"Today the day that you hear my voice, heart and not your heart, right? So open up your heart, hear what we are sharing tonight, and I know that your life will be magnified exponentially. And that's why tonight matters, because yes, while we're honoring Financial Literacy Awareness Month, but this is bigger than a month. This is about starting conversations that should have been happening at our tables all along. And, and there's no condemnation, because there's no time like the present. And when you know better, you do better. And so, with that, big ups to everyone who is here today. You may have come by train, plane, or automobile, or the internet, right? Or some might have been threatened. I might have twisted your arm, or, send up some smoke signals. But you are here, since we don't over here build alone. And so, because we don't build alone, we don't want you to build alone either. We believe we are stronger together. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to take a moment and go and share this live. Go share, comment, like this live, right? So if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. And then I want you to go a step further and take a moment to text Pookie and them. Yeah, I said Pookie and them, especially the ones that be including you in the group chat and sending you all kind of unwanted reels. I'm going to take a moment to text Pookie and them that be putting me in the group chats and say, where are you, right? And I'm making light of it. And this is, we want to be light on our feet as we go through this. But this is super important, not just for our today, but for our tomorrow. Our whole bloodline needs to be rewired where it's concerning money and finances. And so we want you to go and share this with someone. That person who'll be like, Dad, you should have told me about it. Because I no doubt believe that you're going to be not only encouraged, you're going to be empowered, you're going to be equipped to then execute and really, really take your finances to another level. I know they do this all the time, so I'm just feeling like doing it. If you know your finances need to go to another level, I want you to put that in the chat, right? I want you to put in the chat, my finances will go to another level as a result of this word that I'm going to hear tonight. My finances are going to go to another level as a result of what I'm going to hear tonight. So go ahead, finish sharing. And while you do that, now you think I can't see you, but the Lord see you now. Go and share this live now. Go and share the YouTube. Don't be acting like that. Go ahead and share so that we can have more people here with us. And because that's how other cultures do it. If y'all don't know it, like this is, we're not anti any other culture here. We are just leaning more into our people during this time. But if you know any other culture, they pile up in houses, they pile up in cars, they listen. The big mama be like, get over here, Rafi, right? Do what you need to do to be here. They drag them if they have to. So let us do that, right? And so here, while you do that, is the zone of faith, finances, and freedom for those who don't know. Because around these parts, we believe in three things. We believe in faith, trusting God as our source; finances, stewarding what He has placed in our hands, because there is a thing. If you don't multiply what the Master gave you, He will take it from you. And then freedom. We're want to remind you of the life that God has called us and created us to live. And that's one of living, being, and thriving, not one of stress, strain, struggle, and survival. I know this is not a Bible study, but you can say amen to that. And here's the truth as we get ready to delve in tonight's presentation. The truth is that we cannot fully walk in freedom if we don't understand how to handle our finances, right? The Bible says that money answers all things. That's in Ecclesiastics. And so sometimes people are challenged with having the money conversation, but you chase it every day, right? But when you go to your job and you need a check, or somebody, oh, you be on it, give me my money, right? And so it's not about having the conversation more than it's about having healthy money conversations. And that's what we are going to do today is we're going to have a healthy money conversation, and we're going to tell you where what I call the missing money math, things that we was taught this but we weren't taught that. But today you get to get a needle injected in your arm so that you could do a little bit different and grow. And if you're just starting out, cool. If you scaling, cool, right? All of this is foundational and fundamental, and so we know it's going to help you. But the word of God says that people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, not a lack of effort, not a lack of desire, but a lack of knowledge. And tonight we are closing that gap, baby. Now I'm on pause and ask, did you share this YouTube channel? I don't know. Evelyn, did you share with some people? I'm getting ready to send some people because some folks that told me they was coming, I don't know if they here or not. If you are here, you coming in, let us know that you are here with us today. And I am just going to share this out with a few folks who told me that they wanted me to remind them, and go figure, I forgot to do the reminding. But stand by. We gonna get this. We gonna get this together. 1 second. Um, and then I'm really going to dive in. I really am. I just told somebody that I would, and I want to make sure that I honor. Okay. All right. So let's get into this conversation. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right? Like working hard, paying your bills, trying to save, but somehow the money still isn't mathing, right? That's because for many of us, the math isn't mathing. It's not your hustle, it's not your heart. I just want to for you to get in alignment with that, because I've been talking to people and they feel like they have failed themselves and their families. And it's like, listen, I believe that is not what happens to us, but it's how we handle what happens to us, how we move forward from whatever we experience, whatever we didn't get or thought that we should have gotten. And let's deal in the truth, not feelings. On a national level right now, y'all, about 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Nearly 40% cannot cover a $400 emergency without borrowing it. Americans hold over 1 trillion in credit card debt. You've heard the saying, we're credit rich, but we're cash poor. The average credit card interest rate is over 20%. Y'all, that is high. I saw somebody the other day, they told me that they have a card for 40, that is the interest rate is 40%. That's dangerous. That is like, how can somebody get ahead with those numbers? And that means people are not just in debt, they are paying to stay in debt, right? So you are paying, or we pay for this debt, whether it's a loan, whether it's a credit card, whatever it is, school tuition, whatever, we're paying to stay in debt. And when we zoom even further into our community, for the Black Americans, these are some statistics that I recently found. The median wealth is about 24,000 versus 180,000 for other families. Home ownership is around 44% versus over 70% nationally. And they say that this is not a real statistic, but there is a truth here, which is that the Black dollar circulates only about 6 hours in the Black community. And what that really means, or is the undertone to that, is that the dollar, we don't do business with each other. We do business with more people outside of our race than we do with our own race, right? And so that means, right, we can't get circulatory wealth or, revenue generation in our community, because we're doing it outside of our community mainly. And we are more consumers than we are owners, right? And so again, this is not about us not working, because we clearly are. We working in this system. We're spending. This is about missing the system. So tonight we're going to walk you through a framework, that now, right? We're going to walk you through a framework. Now there are different models out there, but for this particular conversation, we're using what we believe are the core pillars of financial literacy. So earn, how you make money. And let me just say this, right? Most people live 100% off of earned income, and they don't really understand that there are 7 types of income. There are different types of income, and we're going to get into that, right? Because y'all hear me, who's been here, I say it all the time. One is too close to none. So you shouldn't just have one stream of income. But if you're only familiar with earned income, which you're going to a job, you get a check, then there's that missing link, right? Spending and saving, how you control and keep money, is vitally important. We're going to cover that tonight. Just touch it. No, we're not doing a deep dive. This is National Financial Literacy Month, Awareness Month. So we want to constantly raise the awareness around how to have healthy finances, because we believe over here that wellness leads to wealth, right? And that's in every area. But today we're talking about finances. So we want to make sure that we always keep a healthy relationship and understanding around our finances and money. Borrowing and credit, how you leverage or mismanage debt, right? It was never designed for, well, it wasn't designed for us to begin with, and then we weren't really taught how to handle it. So we're stockpiling debt instead of leveraging it, and we may or may not get into that a little later. Investing, how you multiply money, right? Protection, these are what we're the core financial pillars that we're going to explore tonight. How you sustain and transfer wealth, right? That's one of our issues in our community. We're not transferring wealth. Each generation is starting from ground zero, or each generation is having to figure out, they're starting from ground zero because they got to figure out what to do next, or they're so dealing with the debt that was lost, they can't progress and move forward. But if you look at some household family names, and this is not, we got some bang out families in our Black community that are doing it, that have turned the tide on this. However, it's very few. And if it's us who's making this economy go, I posted the other day, if we're going to allow a war that we're paying for, we're using our money for a war that we ain't, some of us ain't even interested in, right? Don't even know why we over there, shouldn't be over there. That's a whole nother conversation for another day. Why wouldn't we use our money to multiply it in a way that our bloodlines, even past generations and future generations, can be better positioned? Evelyn posted something today about positioning. And I said, if you're going to be able to position, you have to be present. And so this is what tonight is about, allowing you to be in the room where it is happening. It is happening because we were taught how to make money. That's one of the realities. We were taught how to make money, but not necessarily how to keep it, use it, or grow it. Right. And let me lean in right here, because this is where many people get stuck. They come to me all the time. Our community helps them take their money and leverage it, multiply it so they can make more, or help them get an entryway into real estate that is, you don't need credit, you need little money. So then you can constantly stack, prioritize liquidity, and acquire assets, right? So I'm not saying this from a place of I'm a pie in the sky. I'm pulling this from what I actually know. And listen, dig this, what I have lived in the past. This is where people get stuck. But one stream of income is no longer optional, y'all. We need to know that it's no longer optional. right? It used to be go to school, get a job, just go to school, get a job, get the house, and that's the American dream. Yeah, there's some pieces that are left out of there, but one income is too close to none, and we see it happening, unfolding before us, right? And so, even the scripture tells us, right, that you are to invest in 7 ventures, yes, even in 8, because you do not know what disasters may come upon the land. That's Ecclesiastes 11:2. And so that's multiple streams. That's diversification. That's wisdom, right? So when we talk about earning, we're talking about earned income, your job. But then there's passive income, right? There's rental income. There's, all types of, royalty income. There is IP income. There's different types of income that you should know, right? And you should tap into those different types of income, because one is too close to none, and earned income is not the only income. That's the one we know of heavily. That's the one we live in. And quite honestly, for many of us, we're living 100% off of earned income. And so then we can't get ahead. If you like one of those people who are like trying to fight to the top, like what the heck is happening? Because you need additional streams of income. Portfolio income, that's where your stocks, your investments, your assets live. And because if your income only works when you do, you don't have freedom yet. You won't have freedom because it's relying on you to work. But we're going to come tonight, and Evelyn will chime in. We're going to do some Q&A, and she's going to invite her in to the conversation. But I just want to tee this up. I want to level you. I want you to open yourself up wide as we give this information. Evelyn and I are in spaces where we see people show up, and that's great. You get points for showing up, but you get manifestation for the information you're able to execute on. And that's our sole objective tonight. We really want you to move from point A to point B, no matter where that is, just starting out from stuck and just starting, or stuck and trying to scale, right? We believe that this foundational fundamental principles will help you. And this is bigger than all of us. We all say a good man or woman leaves a inheritance to our children's children. Well, that means what we build needs to outlive us. Okay. So here's my challenge to you tonight. Don't let this just be a live you watched. Take this conversation to the dinner table, family night, your kids, your kids, Junior and them need to know this. And the more earlier they start, the better position they can be. Take it to your circles. People come in and they want me to coach them, and they're like, I don't have nobody else. And I'm like, well, if you get on a wave, then the man that the people around you be on the same wave you on. If y'all gonna bang, let's bang, right? Bang the way that you want to bang. Because if we don't change the conversation, we won't change outcomes. So Evelyn, let's get into it tonight. Because when we say there's missing money math, we're talking about real gaps. And I want to walk through these pillars with you tonight. I thank you for being our special guest tonight. I want you to take a minute to just introduce yourself. And then after you introduce yourself, we're going to get at it, right? We're going to get at it, dig in and get at it. Okay. Are you on mute? Let me see. Let me make sure you're off mute. Okay, there you go. Come on, Evelyn. Tell the people who you are.
Hi, everyone. I'm Evelyn Smith, and I'm a real estate advisor and an attorney. And I help people position themselves to build and multiply wealth through the use of real estate locally and globally, using strategic opportunities and decisions on how to invest their money and how to protect their money and how to pass down generational wealth.
Amen. Well, I'm so grateful that you decided to hang out with your girl for the night. and help us, help the people, help ourselves to keep on growing and thriving, so we can make, manage, and multiply this money, baby, because it is out for the taking. We're just missing it. So, Evelyn, what do you believe people are getting wrong financially?
What I believe people are getting wrong financially is that we spend so much time focusing on earning money, but we don't focus on how we should strategically position our money so that our money can work for us. Um, just like you were stating earlier, we keep like we earning, we earning, we earning. All we focus on is earning, earning, earning. But if you'll be in a constant rat race, if you don't learn how money works and how to position that money strategically so it can eventually work for you, so you can have money to pass along to future generations, and you can also have passive income, which is have making money while you're sleeping, making your money work for you. So that's one of the biggest financial mistakes that I see people make, is that they just focus on the earning pillar and they don't make it past it.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think people think that it's harder than, I think they make it harder than it actually is. And I get it. Like for some people, they just tired. All they can think about is another job.
Mm-hmm.
But when we talk about earning, or when we talk about money, let's first shift the narrative about money, right? Money was designed to be a tool.
Right.
It wasn't designed for us to be enslaved to it or chasing it. It was meant to be a tool. So our earning should be from a place of earning and then tooling something else with it, right? So I agree with you that that is one of the things that they get wrong. So tell me, why is increasing income beyond optional today? I made that comment that, it's no longer optional. It is a necessity to have multiple streams of income. What are your thoughts?
Um, I agree totally that you should have multiple streams of income. Just to piggyback off of what you just said, earning is just the foundation part. That's where you start, but you have to continue to build, which includes like saving and investing. And when you invest and you strategically invest, that's when your money multiplies and it begins to work for you. So I just think that's important that you learn how money works, how credit works, how saving works. Not just, I mean, just like you stated earlier, we like one emergency from being bankrupt if something happens. And you should say saving should be more than just saving for emergencies. You should be saving just to have additional income that you can put in other places to invest as well. So that's where I think we need to focus on trying to teach people how to invest, and so that they can have multiple streams of income, how they can earn multiple streams of income. I mean, like you said earlier, money is a tool. So once you learn how to use money as a tool and make it work for you, then you can develop multiple streams of income. And then, like you said, that's how it develops into earning more money that you can invest and save, so your money could essentially work for you.
Yeah, and for those who you may be saying, I already know this. Listen, sometimes we need several paths. That's why it is awareness, right? I mentioned I had a bishop who said sometimes we don't need to be informed as much as we need to be reminded, because sometimes we get in the throes of life and we just forget. We're too busy trying to survive that we forget. So we are right now discussing pillar number one, which is one, the one of the five core pillars that we're going to address tonight, and that is earning. Okay, so now that we told the people, basically reminding them for some, and perhaps introducing this concept to a few for the very first time. But what are some practical ways to increase income without burnout? I'll start, and then you can throw in one or two. So affiliate marketing is one way to increase your income without burnout. Getting another skill, right? A skill that
Mhm.
you really love, or entering into a space that you really love. Some of us, I played sports, and one time I had a coach, and he played me out of my position, right? And so I played it, but I wasn't as effective as I could be because I was being played out of position. So maybe it's getting another skill, learning a new skill that you always wanted to learn, that you're passionate about, not, a space that you fell into. And consider that. And for those who like, I'm too old for that. No, you not. You only have an old spirit, right? Caleb said,
Right.
Caleb in the Bible said he was 80, and he said when it was time to go out for war at 80, he was like, put me out on the front lines, put me in, coach, put me in. And they were like, no, we can't do that, sir, you have grown old. And he said, listen, I am just as young at 40 as I at 80 as I was at 40. Put me in, I'm gonna take it all down, right? And so you're not too old, you're not behind schedule. It's not all over for you. The devil is a liar. No, anytime you hear the voice and you hear a new word, it's another opportunity to change. So I gave a couple practical ways to increase income without burnout. Because we ain't telling you necessarily to get another job. It may
Mhm.
be asking for a raise. It may
Right.
be doing a little bit of overtime. It may be, like I said, it may be something else where it is more passive, as we mentioned,
Mhm.
and you're not trading time for money. Okay, Evelyn, give
Yeah.
us one.
Creating digital products is a good way to earn an additional stream of income. It could be just as simple as teaching somebody how to sew. Like you might want to put 5, 10 steps on sewing, or just like Miss Terri, she has digital products on financial literacy. Like I have a digital product on global investing. Like it's so easy to actually sit down and develop a digital product. It doesn't even have to be that long. It could be anywhere from like 10 to 20 pages, and you might sell it for $10 or $20. But that's an additional way to make money. Of course, real estate is always going to be an additional way to earn additional.
Oh, and that's where we live. We're gonna get into that a little bit
Right.
later, because that's where our ties bind.
Right.
I believe real estate is still the best wealth strategy,
Let's
the
see.
best way to generate income, even in skittish markets. And I'm just gonna plug this here. The reason why, I say that, because you may hear of, the common two, buying and holding, fixing and flipping. You may
Mm-hmm.
not do this in this market. I'm advising all of my clients, we're not necessarily doing all of that in this, but wholesaling, that's a
Mm-hmm.
wholesaling real estate is a good way with little cash. It's a way to build your bank, and have less risk. And right now, with people having, they're losing their homes,
Foreclosure.
cost of living has gone up, right? So that's a way. We just did a series called 30K in 30 days, and we showed them receipts how you can make $30,000 in 30 days in certain spaces. And so thank you for sharing that. I love what Evelyn said about digital product. And right now people live online, unfortunately. And don't run this, don't do this. Don't think about only the people you know. Remember, it's a whole world out there. So the people
Mm-hmm.
you know may not buy your stuff, but there are people who are waiting to know how to do this, or when to do this, or what to say about this. And so I echo that sentiment, Evelyn. I do believe that it is super easy. Okay, let's delve into spending and saving. Why do people make money but still have nothing left? What do you think is the reason why people make money, but they still have nothing left?
Well, I mean, first we have like inflation right now is definitely a big issue with people and their income. So that's one reason why the people just don't make enough. Let's just be honest. They just don't make enough money. And so by the time they finish paying their bills, they only have a little bit left and they feel like, oh, but it's really not enough for me to save. And so that's another reason why they're not saving as much. Also people are overutilizing their credit cards. Um that's a big issue too, as far as credit, because credit is just it's just really giving you the financial power to decide like how are you gonna purchase it, how you purchase something and what it's gonna cost you. Because we two people could buy the same property and pay a difference in thousands of dollars due to the interest because of their credit score. And people don't realize it and they just continue to overutilize their credit card. And then their credit score goes down. And then they can't afford to purchase other things such as houses and cars and things of this such. So, but they're living off these credit cards to make it during their regular during their regular course of living. So, it's just those things and stuff are issues as to why people aren't saving as they should. And some people just feel like they just live day to day, and so they don't feel like they need to save. I have heard people say, "Well, I'm not leaving nothing back here for anybody." And but of course, like you stated earlier, that's not a principle that's in the Bible. Like if you don't leave something for your behind for your people or generation, you're worse than the infidels. So
And that's true. And to add to that, like, why wouldn't you want to maximize your quality of life while you're here, right?
right.
I think to add to that, people don't know how to leverage, and we'll get into credit and borrowing as one of the other pillars in a minute. But I think when it comes to saving, I agree with you. Either they're underfunded with income, or they don't know how to save in a way. And let me just give you a tip here. When it comes to saving, even if you're starting very small, I would recommend you put it in uh, a um, a high
I
yielding
yield
savings
information.
account, right? So your best ones are online. They are, because they don't have brick and mortar. It allows you to yield more because the bank, if you ever watched, even when you put money in a savings account, you are literally getting 0.01% of a penny in 12 years. I mean, 12 months, right? Not only can you invest other places like real estate deals and stuff like that, but you can start small if you need to and put it into high yielding savings account so that your return can be much greater, right? And then here's where the balancing of the scales are. You may have to reduce your expenses, your spending, and
Mm-hmm.
increase your income, right? Because the goal is, maybe for you, is to get out of debt first. That's that whole snowball. You may have
Well,
heard of a
just know
snowball
about it.
effect. You could do that, make money, pay it down, go to the next one. That's what I did when I first started out. And I may share my
Mm-hmm.
story a little bit later. back in 2009 when I first got on this journey to even arrive to be a multimillionaire, right? Like it was stuff that I had to do. There was sacrifices I need to make. And I even tell my clients now, just give yourself 6 months to course correct or to make a new move. And so what that may mean is, okay, if you go to Starbucks every day, you maybe go twice a week, right? But there's money just missing. You just have to reallocate it. Okay.
And
What's
that's
the biggest
another.
mindset shift around spending and saving you think somebody needs to have?
Um, I was something I was about to say about the different systems when you was talking about the snowball effect. The envelope system, if you guys, that's a good system to use as well. At the beginning of each week, you take out so much cash and put it in an envelope, and once that money is gone in the envelope, that's your money gone for the week. Um,
All
that's
right. Well, let's be clear. If you are undisciplined, you need an accountability partner, right?
right.
Because I know people, they get that envelope, and if it's too close, they like, oh, I gotta do it now. So I think you would concur with me. If you
Right,
know yourself, know thyself, right? I think that's a
right,
movie or something. I don't know. But you may need an accountability partner to work that system. We want you to be successful and start picking things that are within your control. And I had a coach ask me, how big is your want to? And so I asked you tonight, how big is your want to not just be making money, but to be able to make it, manage it better, so in order to multiply it so that you can move from barely enough to more than enough. And right now in this world, I was talking to one of my investors are feeling it right now, especially those who have mortgages on properties, right? So we should always be prioritizing liquidity or prioritizing savings, because you just don't know what's going to come upon you. I hear people say, life be life, and that's fair, but there's a difference between the prepared and the unprepared, and we want to get you prepared. Okay, I want to get the audience involved a little bit. We asked a question, and Evelyn, I'll come back to you on that second question that I had. But in the chat, I want you to tell us, what's the biggest mindset shift around spending and saving you believe people need to have? So this question is to the audience. We're going to answer it in our way, but we want to hear from you, right? What's the biggest mindset shift around spending and saving you think people need to have, right? Because we ain't talking about you. We ain't talking about your cousin. We talking about Jimmy and them down the street, right? And Laura and them down the road, right? So what is the biggest mindset shift you think needs to occur and when it comes to spending and saving? So I want you to put it in the chat. I want to hear from you. Also, since we alluded to it, I mentioned about investing in real estate. I want to give you a free guide for those who have been with us for about 30 minutes, 40 minutes. I'm going to ask my team to put it in the chat, how to get into your first deal without breaking the bank. That is because we want you to take action. So we want to put that free guide in the chat for you. Now, Evelyn, what do you believe is one of the biggest mindset shifts that needs to happen around spending and saving?
I think one of the biggest mindset shifts is that saving is really about discipline and protection. And we need to get away from, oh, if I spend it today, I'm gonna get it back. Because a lot of people a lot of people say, well, oh, I spend it, I'm gonna make it right back. But that's not the right mindset to have. The best mindset to have is to assign your money places for it to go. Because if you don't assign your money will create the assignments for you as to where you want, as to
That's
where
so
it's going to
good.
go.
That's
So
so good.
you have to assign your money places to go, and it requires discipline, and it requires, like I said, protection from like future, you know, emergencies and things of that sort. And then savings just create access. Um, if you save money, it helps you create opportunities that allow you to leverage your funds for different assets that you might want to purchase, such as real estate, other investing, like in the stock markets and brokerage accounts. And you can, a lot of people don't even have enough money saved for down payments for houses or cars either. So
So what's the mindset shift that they need to have?
they need this. The mindset shift they need to have is that saving is important. It's a must. It's not optional. It's necessary. Um, that's just the truth of the matter. You need to save, and if you want more, if you want more access and the ability to have more opportunities, then you need to have more money saved and put aside. So when the time comes, and it will come, you'll have money that's available to use, and you don't have to worry about it wiping out the rest of your money in your account because you hadn't saved any money.
Okay, yes. And I think another one is when you hear people say, well, you can't take it with you, or they
Hmm.
say stuff like, um, well, I'm going to live now, right? And
Or you
here,
only live once.
oh, that's a good one, right? And listen, while those are true, right? Here's what you're saying. So if you die and you done ran up a bag, you selfishly left all of that to somebody else to have to figure out. And that is a real thing. At that point, it's not about you.
Mhm.
It's about the living, right? The other thing is, don't you want to have a quality of life? Like, for example, back in the day with people that I'm not going to mention, that I know, they used to go on trips and they would literally tell you, I'm right, my gas is off. I'm robbing Peter to pay Paul, but I'm here because I worked. Okay. But here's the thing, why not better position yourself so that you can and assign your money so that you can comfortably go on these trips and not have what they call buyer's remorse, or you sad
Mhm.
afterwards, right? Or getting closer to retirement and not figuring it out, right? Because another day is going to come. In fact, today is tomorrow, right? We said
Right.
it yesterday, I'll do it tomorrow. Well, tomorrow is today, right? And so
Right.
it's going to come. The other part is, why you short living yourself like that? Like, I not only believe that I'm going to live a long life, but the Bible says, with long life will I satisfy you and show you my good favor.
Mhm.
I believe I'm going to have great favor, but it's not just enough about my faith, it's also about my work. So when Evelyn said, we want to be in a position to constantly tell our money where to go, not keep asking where it went. And even with the savings piece, it's not just allowing it to sit in a place and look pretty. It positions you to then make strategic moves, right? So you
Mhm.
sitting with a blank canvas, you're sitting with a pile. Then you can say, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, right? It allows you to really position yourself to multiply money. Now, let me drop a bomb on you now. If you say, well, I don't have to multiply my money, if you're a believer, go over there and look at Luke 19 and Matthew 25. When they didn't put their money to the exchange, he said,
Mhm.
I came back expecting interest on my money, right?
Mhm.
And when
Mhm.
he called the servant evil and wicked, right? And
Right.
so, and then not only that, I mean, that's the extreme of it, but why wouldn't you want to have more than enough so you can educate your kids the way you want and your grandkids? You yourself, if you decide you want to check out, right? Law enforcement, there was a need for me to roll out, and I went I was getting ready to go into the work, and I was like, Lord, I don't want to go. I don't want to do this anymore. And he was like, you don't have to, because I had already built a portfolio in real estate that could cover it. And that was the difference between my peace of mind and me constantly living in a state of anxiety for a variety of reasons. So you want to shift how you think about the money that you're entrusted, so that you can have and you can have that life more abundantly that we're believing for. All right, let's talk about borrowing credit. And here is my thing, Evelyn. I believe that, because we were taught that, we need credit, or that credit exists, and that we should always ask for it. So some people always want free, and they always just, let me do that on the eye. That's what we used to say back in my hood. Let me get that on the eye, right? And that just meant, let me get that and I'll pay you back later, right? And so we transitioned that from, doing that with people to now in these institutions. But I'm a big proponent of it. These institutions are to be leveraged for you to make more. Right now, if you starting out and you buying a car, you need a car, and you have to get credit is not that great, which Evelyn delves in credit a little bit, and we're going to give you her handles later, so her social media handles, so you can follow her. But if you got to make that move temporarily, just as she said, if your credit is low, that's the difference between you paying a 30% interest rate and somebody else paying a 5% interest rate. Okay, but let's say you got to get into it because you don't have no other option. You need to get to that job. Okay, but then I need you to circle back, because that was never designed to be a long-term solution. It should be designed to be short term, right? And now let's make it count. All right, you could get to the job. Let me increase my income and let me get the heck out of this high interest loan, because who's paying for a car like 50 years, right? Now
Right.
terms that are crazy, right? But you've been paying for that same car over and over again.
Over.
And because this is Awareness Month, we want you to constantly keep these things before you, so you can just make better decisions and healthier decisions and be able to do more. So Evelyn, what is one of the biggest traps and tools? What do you think people misunderstand about credit card debt and interest?
Like you stated, credit is really used to help you to position yourself to use it to leverage to build wealth. It's not used to just live off of and sustain, and I'm gonna pay it back later without a plan on how you're gonna pay it back. Because eventually the credit company is they're gonna want their money back, and they're loaning you this money based upon your credit score, which is determined by how your payment history, if you ever had, how many credit cards you have open, what's the utilization um, on those credit cards. All of those determine your credit score and how they decide what interest rate they're going to give you to allow you to borrow money from their bank. It's really just essentially just saying what's the propensity of you paying back this money back in the time frame that's allotted on this in this credit application, and or this credit card for a monthly. And some people just, the biggest trap is people getting these little bitty credit cards like Target and Belk, and they have like 22 to 30% interest rate, and you just paying them the minimum payment, and you steady paying and you steady paying the minimum payment, and you done paid for your items and merchandise over and over again, and you steady adding more stuff to buy to it, and you wonder why you can't, your credit score is down, and you can't afford to get in the house that you want or purchase a car that you want. Or if you end up purchasing it, like you said, you have a high interest rate, you paying 15-20% because your credit not good. So I just think that that's just the biggest trap is I'm a get it now and pay it back later. You have to know exactly how you plan on paying these credit companies back, because they will come back for their money. And if you don't have it, it will affect your score and your ability to borrow money for future purposes. Like I said, it never was intended for you to just live off of credit cards. It's really just intended for you to leverage it to help you build wealth and pay it back. Because even some of the wealthiest people use American Express black cards, but they pay this money. They rather use other people's money instead of their money to pay for things, and they use the points. And see, but the thing about it is that they have planned out how they're going to leverage their credit card to earn additional points, additional money for spending money with this credit company. So you just have to have a plan for your credit and how you're gonna
Yeah,
pay it back.
absolutely. And here are two practical ways. Here are two things I want you to consider and I want you to take note of. Okay, if you have a high interest credit card right now, you know, if you're going to use it, don't use it on depreciating items. Use it on appreciating items or income producing assets,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, okay, you got a credit card right now, you don't have cash. Okay, let's strategically, as Evelyn said, get a plan. How are you going to use what you do have? Because there are times, cash can come off of a card or, whatever. If you're going to spend it, don't spend it on inanimate objects like a Gucci belt, right? Not now. I'm not saying never. I'm saying not now. You want to get into a place of healthy and you want to get into a place of stability and security so that look at the 350,000 women who lost their job. That was gone in a day. They could not plan for that, right? We see all of some of big companies, some small companies, they're bellying up, they're walking out, they're shutting down, right? And people don't have a plan. Oh, I think that's the buzzword. The buzzword with everything that we're saying to you today is make sure you have a plan. Write a vision, make it plain, and let's activate it. The second reason why I want you to consider how you leverage your credit is by bringing your kids on as writers, right? There is a thing of authorized usership, and all of the rich people, wealthy people do it,
Mm-hmm.
and so it allows their credit to be their children's credit, right? And so then now we position the next person to make a play because two is better than one all day long, baby, right? And so when we're talking about leveraging, we're talking about using something to produce more, right? You hear of other people's money, OPM, you hear
Mm-hmm.
about OPT, other people's time. Whatever you need to do is that whole formula, those equations, those acronyms are designed to leverage and to better position the person. So I want you to, take those little nuggets and let's go. We got stuff to do. We got poverty is not our portion. My God,
Nope.
lack and struggle is not our identity and is not our testimony. It does not have to be. And so we want to, use these pillars of financial literacy to put a needle in our arms today and to infuse us with what we need. I want to hear from you all. What do you think are some of the traps? Like what has trapped you? And be honest, right? I like to say, and I don't think I'm, unique in saying this or I'm the creator of it, but God can heal what is revealed. When we hold on to different things, it's like we're really deceiving ourselves. But I believe when you expose it, my God, it takes the sting of the shame and the guilt that resides within, and it allows the enemy to whoop us down. I should have did this, or I ain't do this, or I no, put that thing out there. Let's heal it and let's move the heck on. We got money to make. We got moves to make. Let's position ourselves to do that. Okay, so Evelyn, how do we shift from being controlled by debt to leveraging credit, right? I kind of we kind of hit it a little bit, but is there any other things, I guess psychologically, because it all starts in the mind. How do we what kind of mindset shift can we have to do that?
Um, as far as the mindset shift, is this just to ensure that you leverage your credit, like you said. Have a plan. And leverage is really just like you said, using it to accumulate other assets so that will make you more money. The goal is to make your money work for you. Um, that's just the mindset you need to develop. Like you don't always want to be working for your money. Eventually, the ultimate goal is to make your money work for you. So that's how, and leveraging your credit is one way to make your money work for you. And you sit in, like you said, and like we said earlier, just developing a plan on how you're gonna pay your credit cards. What's the best way to leverage your credit, especially even if you're gonna use credit cards. Keep your utilization rate under 30%. Pay your credit cards off on time. Sometimes if you pay them like 2 days before they do, that'll boost your credit score up a couple of points. Some people don't know that. Um, also,
Well, let's not. Let's we're gonna I want you to hit that, and then we'll move on to insurance. But um, that's a good question. Do you know what your credit reporting date is? And I just want you to repeat that strategic move, which is the pay. Just repeat what you said. But in the meantime, I am asking you, listener, you watcher. Um, I'm going to call you a watcher, but you listener, you watcher, what um, do you know what your credit reporting date is? Do you know when your um, the merchants or the lenders are reporting your credit? And then, Evelyn, share with them a strategic move that they can make to reduce the amount of of the balance.
a strategic move would be to pay it a couple of days before the reporting date. That boosts your credit score a couple points by paying it a couple of days early, even if it's like 2 days. When I say a couple of days, like 2 or 3 days early, just pay it before it's reported, and it helps to boost your credit score.
That's good. All right, so homework assignment: go and figure out what your reporting dates are. And with I know with mortgages you can pay, if you pay it in half
Mm-hmm.
throughout the month, that reduces the overall loan amount, right? So these are things that you can strategically do to bring more money back into your house. And now that money ain't to go buy breezy tickets. Now I
No.
ain't coming for you. That money then, because if you still in debt, right, that money is to tell your money where to go, not asking where it went, and giving an assignment to make you more money, where you can say, now money, bring me back money, right? Because that's
Mm-hmm.
that about y'all, but I talk to my money, right? I talk to the investments that I make, and I strategically tell it, this is what I need you to bring me back. Bring it back, right?
Right.
And there's powers in our words. Okay, so let's hit protection, right? Or insurance. Evelyn, why do you think protecting money is over or undervalued? Right? When you think about insurance, right? A lot of people don't have insurance. And
Mm-hmm.
let me just say this, right? Inside of our community, we are helping people and families become bankers. Your insurance policy is not just for you to die, right? It can help protect the money that you have, right? So, Evelyn, I know you were looking up something, so I wanted to fill in a little bit, but you got it. Why do you think it's protection is often ignored?
Because some people just feel like they don't have to protect. what I mean, they don't really need the insurance to protect them. But that's the whole purpose of insurance, is to have, it's for protection and preservation. And it's no point in building something if you're not going to protect what you built. So you don't want a catastrophe to happen and wipe out everything that you worked so hard for. So that's why it's very important to have insurance, whether it's car insurance, health insurance, life insurance. You definitely don't want your family back here trying to figure out how they're gonna bury you, because that does happen, and you don't want to be the GoFundMe. We serving chicken dinners at the church, to help pay for the funeral. This not what. That's not what we don't want to be those people. We want to have, you don't want your people left behind worrying about how they're gonna pay for your funeral and pay off your debts and things. So to me, that's the most important thing, is just building what you protect. And when you put these protections in place, it actually it gives you a peace of mind, and it helps you to focus on building more money because you already have a safety net in place to protect what you're already building. So
Yeah, and we laughing. So I just wanted, because I know, we're not here to offend, but what we are saying is that when you know better, you do better, right? And GoFundMe is not an insurance policy.
no.
There's a lot that comes with that when you can just do what's within your hands to make sure things are covered. The other part of insurance is not just for, which is term life, for after death. There are whole life plans that even in your living, if you get a unfortunate diagnosis as you get older, that money can then be yielded over to you. And so, while you got those few years or months or whatever, you can still continue to have a quality of life. I want you to put that in the comment. Like, I will have an increased quality of life from start to finish, right? And then the protections of insurance policies, again, also help you be the lender, not the borrower. That's another
Exactly.
conversation for
Yeah, I was
another.
about to say, you could actually use your insurance. You
I
could
mean,
leverage
we
your
do it.
insurance. Yeah, you can
we
leverage your
we
insurance policy and borrow
we
against it and be your own bank.
and be your own banker. And if you want to check it out, it's called Infinite Banking over in our membership community. That's one of the things that we added just this year to help our families become the banker. And we're inviting families to come free of charge so they can sit under it, the same way the Rockefellers did it, the same way the Jews did it, right? These are strategic moves that can help you. You don't have a problem making it, but can you manage it well, and can you multiply it so then you can create runway. You can just have options, not obligations. That was good right there. You can, I want to say amen, Walls. Thank you, Holy
Yes,
Spirit.
that was
We
good.
want options. We do not want to live with obligations only, because we don't have to. That's a mindset shift I want us to shift with. I'm worthy of freedom, financial freedom. I am worthy of financial independence. I am worthy of passive and residual income where I'm not swapping time for money. I am worthy. And I want you to hear me at night saying this to you. You are worthy to have, build, and create legacy and generational wealth. You don't have to normalize being in debt or normalizing going to work until your leg fall off. And right now, the way these jokers are playing, I heard they like Social Security don't belong to us. Like, what kind of foolishness is that? But here is when you shift from being an owner of your reality, a owner of your finances, to only being able to sit on the sideline and be a consumer. When you are a consumer, you are told what you should buy. They put in front of us what we should like, right? Because that's that dangling object that we're so used to going after. But when we shift ourselves from consumerism to ownership, we put ourselves in a better position today, tomorrow, and for generations to come. And we say this, right? We're going to move into investing now. What I did put in for people who want to get started, I put in a free guide so that you can try to, start. If you want to start in real estate, how do you buy a property without breaking the bank? We gave you that free guide there, as well as some other stuff that you can have and you can take advantage of. And I'm going to pause here to say, for different tips, tactics, and tools, stay tuned here. We're here every Thursday at 6 p.m. We're on Facebook, Terri Brown Taylor. We're on LinkedIn. Of course, we have a community. That's another, conversation for another day. But today, we really just wanted to raise your awareness and allow the financial pillars to be fundamental and foundational. Even though I have gone beyond, some of these places, I still revisit them to remind me, oh, I need another stream of income, because you want to get to the place where your assets fund your liabilities. You want your assets to fund your liabilities. You want something, not just your earned income, to be able to pay for all the luxuries of life, right? And all of the pleasantries that you want, things that you buy now, but then you, in a moment, you get the temporary high, but then after it's like, man, how I'm gonna pay this, how I'm gonna pay that, right? No, I want you to say in the chat, we done with that. We done as a community of people of normalizing just being in debt, staying in debt, working till our fingers fall off, having 2 and 3 jobs, and it still ain't enough. Sometimes just to meet one portion of our monthly living expenses. No, we're going to do better. So now we're shifting and we're coming in to the last core pillar that we want to address tonight, and that is investing, right? You're not going to be able to create runway or create savings or position yourself for emergencies, or if you want to go on vacation and decide, and I've done this, where I was supposed to end in 7 days, but I'm like, man, bunk that, I want to stay for another 3, right? That takes resources, that takes income, and sometimes our mind, bodies, and souls need that, right? Here's another impact of not having enough. Some of us are eating, we're not eating totally quality foods, right? And so we're putting stuff in our bodies that will short circuit our lives instead of cause us to live. And listen, there's no condemnation here. A lot of that is because you can't afford it. I mean, I buy organic chicken, and for my ladies out there, I have fibroids. That's normal in women, and primary and really in higher in African American women. And in 2013, they started growing, but I had good insurance, and they usually tell you, if it don't bother you, don't bother it. Now, I'm not a doctor, but I'm gonna tell you, right? And again, this is along those lines of increasing your quality of life. And so while it wasn't bothering me, I was going to the bathroom a lot because it was weighing on my bladder. And so we did this procedure called myomectomy, because I was still in childbearing years, and and we wanted to make sure that was intact. But one thing my OBGYN doctor at the time told me, and she told me the things that caused the fibroids to grow. And one of them was chicken. And she wanted me, if you want to eat chicken, because, I think we all can agree we love a fried piece of chicken, right? But she said, if you're going to eat it, you should eat organic chicken, free range chicken, with chicken that is not pumped with a bunch of steroids. When you be seeing them big old wings and you wondering how they're pumping them with something, right? And so, but sometimes people have to settle for that, because, and remember, I told you, we want to get into a place of having options, not obligations. You don't have to be obligated to buy the not so good or healthier produce because you can't afford it. We're encouraging you, we're empowering you, and we know that investing can multiply money. There's a term in this space that say wealth loves speed. Now, I ain't quite figured that all out yet, but I do know when I invest, I get windfalls, right? So where it may have taken me, I'm making this up, maybe a year to make 30,000. I could do a real estate deal and get 30,000 within 30 to 45 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is how you fast. This is how investing fast track you. We're not here to sell you anything today. I promise you. We are here to raise your level of awareness and say, if you're not investing, you need to consider investing, and the money you do have and that you're spending in different places, I want you to reconsider how you're spending and reallocating, repositioning this
Mm-hmm.
money so that you can have more in store. And as the Bible says in Corinthians, we want to be able to be generous on every occasion where we can. So, with that, Evelyn, what's the difference between saving and investing today?
Investing is where your money multiplies, like you said. This is when your money starts working for you instead of you working for your money. Um, it just financially positions you to, take advantage of different opportunities. When you're able to invest your money in different ventures. So, I always tell people with investing, it is some risk in investing, but you you have to manage the risk and be able to leverage your money at the same time during your investment. But in anything there's some to me, in anything there's a risk. But like I said, the benefits definitely outweigh the risk when it comes to investing. So if you want your money to multiply, you definitely should invest it, whether that's in real estate, stock markets, brokerage accounts. Um, by all means, educate yourself on investing. Like Miss Terry said, she has financial books and guides that you can purchase and that she's giving away for free. It's a lot of free material out here to even just give you the foundation on investing. So
And,
that.
and wait, to that point, because I'm feeling led to say it. And find, if you're going to find a person to follow, find one person instead of trying to get information all over the internet. And then you end up being confused. A confused mind does nothing. So then you end up stuck because you're trying to remember what this person said and what that person. Hone in, right? And I love what you said, Evelyn, right? There's risk to everything, but you want to mitigate your risk. And, I was talking to one of my business besties yesterday, and we were talking about how, would you rather pay on the front end with quality foods? We were talking where foods was concerned, or pay on the back end when you are sick and infirmed. And remember, that's not our portion. Sickness and disease
Mm-mm.
don't belong to us. So you want to use wisdom and get ahead of it, right? And you want to get in communities. Like I said, today is not about, getting you to get with us. You can, but whatever you do something and do it strategically. Get in a community where you have accountability, or you have people who have gone before you and they've already took on the brunt of the risk, right? They've already experienced some of the things. I hear people say, oh, well, why people got to charge me for something? Man, you know how much it costs them to take a human shield to get you what you need. And not only that, when you invest, it positions you differently. Free and investing in yourself is totally different. You handle it different.
Mm-hmm.
This is why sometimes people don't want to do free classes and all of that, because people sign up and then they don't even come, right? And it's like, because they don't value it the same way they do as if they have money. And let me tell you, if you're going to invest in real estate, depending on which strategy you use, because there's 15 real estate investment and strategies, just so you know. I know you only hear about the two, getting a tenant and flipping, but there are more,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right?
way more.
And depending on if you leverage this is perfect. This is a couple this and at play. Let me give you a full scenario of these pillars at work. You earn the money, you save it, you then make sure that it's protected, you invest it, right? And you leverage credit institutions or financial institutions so that instead of needing $200,000, you may only need $20,000,
Mhm.
right? But even there, right, there are some things that I lost the train of thought. But even when you're doing that, they want to make sure that that they can get their money back.
Went
So
back.
everybody, this is what I was going to say. Even them, if you're leveraging money, they want when you need to put a down payment for a house, or rather it's a owner occupied home or an investment property, they require you put a down payment. Why? Because they want to know that you got skin in the game, right? So you want to put some in the game, right? So investing is definitely a way to go. All right, now, Evelyn, you and I share a community. All right, what I want to ask you this first. Why should people think beyond just local investing? I know that's one of your playhouses and you want to talk about it, baby. Why should people think beyond just local investing?
um, I feel that people should not just limit themselves to local investing. I think they should explore global opportunities and get branch off into different markets because the way money is made is different in different markets. And it gives you more power, more leverage to expand your portfolio and do different things when you think globally. And it just opens up so many opportunities, so many doors for you to expand your portfolio, accumulate wealth, pass down generational wealth. Actually live if you decide you want to stay in another country for a few months, which some people do, and then come back to the US of A, you can do that as well. And even when you are here physically in the USA, you can use your property. You can rent out your property, whether you're doing short-term rentals, corporate rentals, because some companies have people have employees that they'll pay you for them to use your rentals, or you could just stay over there. It just opens up so many different opportunities as far as investing, and it expands your cultural views. And so I'm all for just like investing globally. Like I said, money works different in different markets as well. So what's worth $1 here might be worth 20, 50 pesos in Mexico somewhere. So you just compounding your money, and your money compounds differently in different countries. So I'm all for like expanding globally. Um so what do you think, Miss Terry?
No, so yes, and child, my brain is going faster than my mouth, right? Because I think people think, oh well, what's going to happen? I'm so far from it, right? But I need you to hear this. What can happen here or
Can
can
happen
happen
there.
there can happen anywhere, right? You want to make sure again you get in right communities, and we build relationships and people on the ground, the same thing you would need to do if you were local, right? Because the other part is, as Evelyn said, you want to be able to have access the same way you want to have multiple income, right? You want to be multiple streams of income. You want to be able to have multiple places to invest because one is too close to none. And if you look at what's happening in our country, we look at the value devalue being devalued on a regular basis. You just want to be able to create more options for yourself. And why? Because you can. The earth, for us believers, the earth is the Lord's, the fullness
Right.
thereof. them that and they that dwell therein. And if he got it, I got it. It say, I am shaped in the likeness and the image of who he is. And I am a daughter of the king, right? Like this kingdom belong to me. And if you're called to nations, there or if you just want to be in nations, you absolutely can. And those markets are emerging and developing at higher rates and quicker rates than we are over here, because we want to be slow. They got a motivation, right? They're trying to catch up, right? And so here's what I would say to you. Think about it and expand your palette, especially in places. Many of you know I'm born and raised in Philadelphia. There's a lot happening in that market. Just today, landlords legally took a blow based on a law that city council voted on, and they will enact into law after it goes to the mayor's desk, right? Well, you want to be positioned. And this is one of the things Evelyn mentioned coming into and have talked about. You want to be positioned to be able to pivot whenever you need to. And that may be going from Philadelphia to Henrico, Virginia, right? I got to leave some stuff exclusively for my community, but they better get ready, because I'm coming with some stuff about other markets that we're going to invest in, where we'll have to deal with tenant town, Philly, which I call it. I love my city, where I was born and raised. I no longer live there, but they have made it hard for landlords to offer housing and help with the housing insecurity, right? Because they have put a lot of pressure on us now. Just like anywhere, any place, there are good landlords, bad landlords, good tenant, bad tenants, right? But you should not make all landlords pay. I don't believe you should do wholesale changes or put burdens on people who then help you with a very real crisis, right? But when we come back in session, with our collective, it's called the Legacy Wealth Builders Collective. I'm going to be redirecting them in some places where they can invest and put in a tenant. And if that tenant don't do right, you don't have to go through these long drawn out processes to get somebody out. And especially if you got a mortgage on it, who paying that mortgage payment while you going through some kind of process with a tenant, right? Nobody wants to do that. Nobody should do that. And so, you want to, back to the point, be able to put your money to work in different places so that it can come back to you from different places. So in the event, right now stocks are volatile. There's a lot of implications with this war. People who have retirements and 401ks, they seeing dips every single day. Well, that don't have to be your story. So we are admonishing you to invest nationally and globally. Do you want to give a little bit more around that thought, Evelyn, before we start coming in for a landing tonight? How y'all doing tonight? I want somebody to put in the chat while Evelyn is teeing herself up. What are the five core financial literacy pillars that we discussed tonight? Okay, Evelyn, is you up?
Okay.
Oh, if you didn't want to weigh in any more on it, you don't have to. I just wanted to make sure I create a space for you to share, as much as your intelligence and your heart desires around the topic.
Also, like, the only thing that I was going to add, because you did such a great job, is making sure when you are investing in other countries that you are getting in groups with good developers, because vetting developers are very important. Having a network of attorneys that can actually view your documents and make sure that they're legal. The legalities are all in place. And that's the most important. Those are two of the important things, and make sure that the title is clear for the property that you're buying. Because you just can't connect with anybody when you buying, like, globally. You have to make sure that they're actually a legitimate developer, and you have like the legal all the legal ramifications needed to ensure that you properly own the property and what your ownership is in the property. And also, it's important with getting in contact with a good developer because they can get you in contact with a good property manager. And that's who's going to actually see after your property while you're not physically there. And you'll pay them to actually manage and look after your property while you're not there. And also, if you want to buy commercial property while you're there, I mean, it's an opportunity for you to buy commercial property, like she said, because these are emerging markets. You might want to put a hair store, a laundromat, or something like, or a pharmacy for that matter, or a wellness clinic. Like it's ways to,
Yes.
it's ways to expand your portfolio globally. So don't be closed off to expanding your portfolio globally. If that's something that you're interested in, like you can get in contact with me, you can get in contact with Miss Terri. I have an ebook on global investing that you can purchase. And if you have any questions, you can always get with either one of us and we can direct you to the right people if we don't have an answer.
Yeah, I'm trying to get her to go with me. Y'all know that inside of it's exclusive to our community. But if you're here tonight, we don't mind bringing you along. I'm trying to get Evelyn to get involved. But many of you know that we do our Build Beyond Borders tour, and we're headed to Bermuda. We're headed to Ghana,
I think I'm going
this
to
year,
go.
and you can still get in on that. And we can give you information around it. But here is what I know: exposure leads to expansion. And again, we have tools, we have resources, as Evelyn mentioned. If you don't want to do with us, that doesn't absolve you from taking advantage of life. I was thinking about this the other day. I know we say life be lived, be life in, and there's always a negative connotation behind it. But life is meant to be lived, right? It was not meant for us, especially as believers, to live in perpetual cycles of stress, strain, struggle, and survival. It just was not designed for that. But it was designed for us to live, to be, and to thrive. And so, as she mentioned, we can definitely help you with that. But whatever you should do, whatever you decide to do, be it with us or somebody else, take advantage of it. Your family needs you there. You need it there, right? Because I can hear you. I'm tired of going to a job I don't like. But you're going because you know that that's attached to your financial source. But when you make God your source and you do
Mm-hmm.
it his way, which said to invest in 7 ventures, right? Then the game changes. The game changes. And so that's what we want to do. We wanted to do tonight. And we hope that it did for you. We pray that it didn't just inspire you, but we pray that it moves you, that this information that we gave you tonight, you would consider and prioritize implementing it, versus stockpiling it. Sometimes we do, and be like, I heard some good stuff today. Okay, what's next? We pray that this education that we've given you, that you would want to execute on it. And if you feel like you're not the person, get somebody else, that you can pour into. Because again, based on the way life is right now, and just in general, these are uncertain times, but we get before and in front of information like this so that we can get in front of it, and that our story don't have to be the story of other people. And so tonight we hope that you take away these gems, because faith without works is dead. In fact, the Bible says, you show me your faith, I'll show you my work. Right? So we need you to
Mm-hmm.
get to work. Evelyn, I want to give you the last word, and then I'm just going to share some things with the people, and then we're out of here tonight. If you have any questions that you would like for us to ask, we'll take one or two. I want you to answer it. But in the meantime, I want you, Evelyn, to give them just some empowering words, some that we can part this space with, that they can have from you.
Well,
Some
first,
parting words.
First, I just want to thank you for having me tonight. This was a very powerful conversation and much needed conversation, especially during Financial Literacy Month. And if there's one thing I want everyone to take away tonight, it's that money is not just something you earn, it's something that you learn how to position. And once you understand to position your money, then you can move your money and your money will begin to work for you. And that's it. So
Child, I'm talking, but you ain't hearing because I had us on mute. Evelyn, you're on Facebook, right? What's your Facebook handle?
my Facebook handle is Evelyn Smith. I'm on TikTok, Evelyn Smith Real Estate, Instagram, Shay0586. And those are all my social handles.
Listen, you want to stay tapped in. Of course, you have us here at Terri Talks Official here at YouTube. Then you have us as Terri Brown Taylor on Facebook and LinkedIn. We're also Built to Last Solutions on Facebook and LinkedIn, and those same handles on Instagram. But sometimes it don't take one pass. Sometimes you have to keep on hearing. It has to get in your spirit. But whatever you have to do, whether you are starting and you are stuck, you we gave you a plan today. We gave you some things to consider so you can strategically move from that place. If you are financially stable, but know you need to scale because you need to create more runway, have more options, or as we said, and we all been there, where one emergency can wipe out a whole 5 year savings, right? So
Mm-hmm.
there's no limit to how much revenue you can generate. There's no limit to how much income you can bring in. It just gives you options to experience more of what, Terri? More time, more relationships. You relationship differently when you when you have money. You don't forget the people that you know, but I'm telling you, you sit in different places. You get to explore more, right? There's a whole world out there that goes well beyond just going to work, paying bills, and maybe having a few outings here and there. And so wherever you are, either you're starting or you are trying to scale, don't forget to stay connected to this kind of information, because what you allow in your ear gate, your eye gate, and your heart gate makes the difference between how you prosper. It makes the difference between how you make the money, how you manage it, how you move it, and how you multiply it. So until next time, listen, thank you for joining us. I, this is going to save. I want you to the way we make everything else go viral. If you think that this was good information, if you think that it was useful information, share it with somebody else, because sharing is caring. And how do we change a culture? When we all get on the same
Same.
page. But if you hearing something different and I ain't hearing nothing, then how can two walk together unless they be agreed? The reason why these attacks against our race, and I won't go on my rant, I promise I feel it coming, is because we do more infighting do we than we do gathering our resources, pooling our resources together, helping to educate, prioritizing collaboration over competition. We
Mm-hmm.
won't do that. And so there are exposed vulnerable gaps that we have, that then people can come at us and come at us hard. They can come in us at us and they can attack the things that we are most vulnerable in, right? Because we don't have the wall protected. That's what Nehemiah was able to do. The people came together and they built. They built
Mm-hmm.
while others was plotting and scheming. Come on, y'all. We can do it, right? So
Mm-hmm.
go ahead and share this out before I go on my passionate rant. Go ahead and share this live out We thank you. Come back next week. If I can get Evelyn back, she might be back for part 2 of this Financial Literacy Awareness Month, that we are raising awareness of how to be financially healthy and how financially wealthy. Until next time, God bless you.
Bye.